here's your Scrutineer polling station. You're going to go here every hour on the hour, and you are going to stand there and watch them count ballots. I was like running back and forth from my car. So once I had those numbers, I was like, I gotta get these to them.
As the election approaches, volunteers across the country are working feverishly to support their party's candidate. However, one of the most important volunteer roles is set to take stage on election day itself, the Scrutineer. Over 64,000 Canadians are needed to fill these roles across Canada just for the Conservative Party, and we thought we would speak to someone who has served as a Scrutineer in the past to give us a behind-the-scenes perspective to the scrutiny of our ballot counting process. Welcome, our friend Marion Sweet.
Hello.
Thanks for coming on. This is so exciting to have you here on Northern Perspective with us.
I'm so excited.
For those of you who may have heard Marion's name before, and many of you actually met Marion at our open house on the 28th of February, Marion's a dear friend of ours, and she's been helping us behind the scenes here at Northern Perspective. Marion, you've been involved with the political process for quite some time. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I, with who my husband's dad is, I got to really kind of get a bit of a like a behind the scenes look at like what the campaign and political side of things look like. And I had a really awesome opportunity during David's last election to Scrutineer, which was a really unique experience. But like also kind of to be experience like door knocking and all the things that you guys have done too. So it's a really cool process, and something that makes you kind of feel a little more connected to the election and like your party as well, which is really cool. So, yeah, it's interesting for sure.
So you've kind of gotten to see kind of how the sausage is made, as it were, in terms of politics. Why don't you tell us a bit about who your husband's father is and how you got involved in participating in the Conservative platform and the campaigns?
Yeah, so my father-in-law is David Sweet, and so my husband and I have been together for 8 years, and 8 years ago, I think it was David's last election. And so I, as I joined into the family, would join any sort of outings that his office had. So like whether it was cleaning like Centennial Parkway, like cleaning up garbage and things like that, like just trying to make an effort in the community with David's family. It was really cool to sort of see the outreach that he had and the respect that he gained from a lot of people. And he worked very tirelessly to support the people in his riding. And so I thought it was a really fantastic opportunity to like learn and to really, I think without that behind the scenes look, like to see like, the blood, sweat and tears that go into really fighting for your riding and your country. And it's such a cool opportunity to see, and that not many people get to. And obviously my husband grew up around it, so he has a better, better understanding obviously than I did, because I was helping out for a short amount of time when I could. But even like those like small tedious tasks is like what you guys have done too, like, putting the plastic things on the signs yeah. and like doing it the right way. And so anyways, it was kind of cool to do all of that. And so, but like, I think also seeing the community, and when I would go to put out signs and things like that, like people would come out and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm so happy to have my sign. Like I met a gentleman in David's last election who said he had all of David's signs from every election. And he was like, I always take them back. So he was like, don't come back for it because I keep it. And I was like, okay, no problem. So yeah, it's really cool to be a part of that.
That's awesome. There's so many ways for Canadians to get involved. And even though there's only a few days left until election day itself, you can still get involved with your campaign team, and they still need people putting out signs, door knocking, putting hangers on doors. If you are interested in still volunteering with your campaign, definitely give them a call and get involved. But one of the most important jobs, I would say anyways, is scrutineer. So can you explain to the audience, what's a scrutineer and why is it important?
Yeah, so I think obviously as somebody a part of a family who has a background in politics, married into one at least, election day came and David was like, it's like all hands on deck, of course. And so to be honest, I didn't really know what scrutineering was until that day. And then it was really cool. So I arrived at, so during election day, every political candidate has like a space that they rent, whatever. And so I arrived, and Dan Muse, who is now the current MP of Flamborough-Glanbrook, he was like, okay, here's your scrutineer polling station. You're going to go here every hour on the hour, and you are going to stand there and watch them count ballots as they like empty the boxes and go through and read them out. And so it was super cool. And I thought it was a really interesting process, especially because it kind of makes you feel a little more connected as well. But there's also that sense of pride of like, you're also ensuring that each of those ballots are counted. And that, you know, if you notice one that has 2 check marks and maybe somebody has missed it, because we're all humans, of course. And so it's easy to miss those things. And so you're also maintaining the integrity of that. And I think without being a part of that, I would have never realized like just how much it kind of helps in terms of making sure that everything is accounted for. So, and then so after you watch that process, and then they let you know like what the tally is for like each, and then you get back in your car and you drive to that office and you give them the count, and everybody's so stressed out, and so you're just, you know, feeling the, you know, vibe of everything. And so, yeah, it's a really interesting process.
And how much of your time would you say it took on election day to be a scrutineer?
I think, so, I mean, I did it all day, but you can do like different shifts. So if you only have a couple of hours and you still want to be involved in your parties, or like your ridings, in election day, that's just a small way of doing it. Whether, you know, you have kids at school and you want to do it, you know, in the morning for once the polls open, for a couple of hours, any bit helps. So I chose to do it all day, but they're just grateful for any support and help. So, but yeah, I was there to like the bitter end. I won't lie though, the feeling of like being there for that last ballot count, you're like, oh my gosh, okay, like this is the last one. And then, you know, like everything is gonna, votes are coming in, like you'll get a, so yeah, it was like a really cool, not adrenaline rush, but it's a really cool feeling, I will say.
So the scrutineer is a very important part of making sure that our elections remain fair and nonpartisan.
Oh, absolutely. So, it's really interesting with the poll workers that are there. They have to remain nonpartisan, especially when you're dealing with so many different people coming in and parties and things like that. So actually one thing that I experienced while I was scrutineering was there was a poll worker at my station who was very much a supporter of another party. And you get to know them throughout the day as well. So, you know, you're like, oh, hi, Bill, I'm back again, ready to count ballots. So one of the gentlemen there was actually very much against the Conservatives platform. And he lived in David's riding and made a couple of comments. And so I actually went to Dan Muse during that time. And I said, you know, like, I'm really uncomfortable. From what I understand, they're supposed to remain nonpartisan, you know. I am, you know, wondering kind of what the process is. And actually they ended up letting Elections Canada know what was happening at that poll station. And that poll worker was actually removed because it is their job to maintain that integrity and to remain nonpartisan. So I think that's also another layer of that protection too, that kind of lets people know too that there is that security there as well. There's no favoritism. People aren't looking to mess with ballots or anything of that nature as well. It's all very like, they do a really great job of really maintaining the integrity of that too. So, when I saw that they did that, I was like, okay, yeah, like that made me feel better, especially so I could continue to do my job, and others as well. Right. So, that was really, like a cool part to see too. So, but yeah, I would definitely say if you're looking for something to do on election day, you want to be a part of, this movement, I guess, and hopefully this blue wave, I would definitely, if you only have a couple of hours or the day, I would say too, even afterwards, like once you're done scrutineering and you go back and you're waiting on the results, like everybody's there and excited, and whether your candidate wins or loses, it's still like you made such an effort, and to be a part of it, it just sort of heightens everything as well. And you may just find that it's something that you want to continue doing, in further elections. So yeah, it's a really cool process. So.
Awesome. Yeah, we always say that, before we started volunteering with our EDA and our campaign team, we never would have imagined that you can make lifelong friends through politics. You always think of politics as maybe divisive, but if you start volunteering with your EDA, start volunteering with your campaign team, you really do make friends for life, and you already know that you've got something in common.
Oh, for sure. And like, don't forget, like, helping with your EDA, or like, there are also so many perks. Like, you'll have so much pizza. I think I eat so much pizza. It's always small things as like small tokens, but even, when during election season, going out, like we would go out and go to different, like, I think it was like Canada Day, and we gave out like firework glasses and things like that. And it's just like, it's so great. Like, regardless of, maybe how strong your views are, it's really cool to meet with people who align with your views, and, to strive towards a common goal. And yeah, so yeah, I don't know. I would definitely, if you haven't done it before, don't feel intimidated. It's such a cool experience, such a positive experience as well.
And it's important too. We need scrutineers in our election process to keep things fair, as you've said.
Oh, absolutely.
To catch those little mistakes, because again, we're all human. Mm-hmm. To catch the mistakes, to make sure that everybody's doing what they're supposed to be, and that the election means fair for all parties.
Oh, for sure. And don't forget too, like, we're all human, and those poll workers, as hard as they're working and as diligent as they are, like you said, they've been there all day, or they've been there all week. Like, they've been there during advanced polling and things like that, and people get tired and things like that. So it's just an added layer of protection. And, you kind of get that pride of, you get those numbers and now you're running back because that campaign team is waiting for those numbers. And so you're like, oh my gosh, like, it's such a cool feeling to like hand that in. So yeah, I would definitely, like, even if you just want to give it like a shot for a couple of hours and try it, it's a really cool experience. So yeah, I would definitely give it a try if you haven't, or if you were kind of on the fence and were like, oh, is this something that I can do? It's definitely something that's, fairly easy, not too strenuous, unless you're like, I was like running back and forth from my car. So once I had those numbers, I was like, I gotta get these to them. So yeah, it's a really cool experience.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on Northern Perspective.
Oh, thanks so much. This is so fun.